What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Edgar, Berlanga, Hamzah, Sheeraz. This is the fight prediction and keys of victory. And of course, you know we have to come with a classic, iconic tale of the tape. That is right. We have 23 wins from Edgar Berlanga versus the 21 wins from Hamzah Sheeraz. One loss for Edgar Berlanga, and that was to Canelo Alvarez. No losses for Hamzah. 18 wins by KO for Edgar Berlanga versus the 17 wins by KO for Hamzah Sheeraz. 24 total bouts for Edgar, 21 for Hamzah. 75% KO percentage versus the 81% KO percentage for Hamzah Sheeraz. 6'1" for Edgar Berlanga versus the taller 6'3" Hamzah Sheeraz. 73-inch reach for Edgar Berlanga versus the 75-inch reach for Hamzah Sheeraz. Brooklyn, New York, USA for Edgar Berlanga versus Slough, Berkshire, United Kingdom for Hamzah Sheeraz. And they are around the same age. And let me counterpunch. Okay, we have Hamzah Sheeraz. He is a decent boxer. I think he's a better boxer than anything else, despite his knockouts. He has no losses, 17 wins by KO. He had the split decision draw from Carlos Adames, which a lot of people were questioning because of the influence of Turki Al-Sheikh. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about that later. Nonetheless, he's done his job in each and every fight besides that fight, which is questionable, because Carlos Adames is one of those guys that, he himself has a high knockout percentage, and he was also undefeated. So a lot of people thought he was given the shaft in that particular fight. Nonetheless, these guys, Edgar Berlanga, I think having the experience, slightly against Hamzah should be very interesting. Okay, Hamzah is definitely he's a boxer puncher. Edgar Berlanga, it's safe to say he's a puncher, because Edgar Berlanga doesn't like to really box as far as that goes. He likes to land his shots. He likes to be in position to throw his shots, to land his shots. So that brings him mostly being flat-footed. Well, Hamzah has the length, the reach, the height. I think he will be able to outbox Edgar Berlanga in spots. Okay, now what we did learn from the Adames fight is Hamzah can be countered. Okay, and if Edgar Berlanga, if he's smart, he would pick his shots. I don't think he's the faster fighter in there. I believe he's the harder puncher. But Hamzah can crack too. Don't get it twisted. That hook is nothing to play with. You get caught with that hook, something weird may happen to you. I think that this fight is going to be a very exciting fight. I will go live. I have a private function, so I may be a little late for that, but I will still go live, be live for that particular event. And I think Sheeraz is a guy that I wonder about him, though, because he may have the protection plan installed. That's my only question. See, I'm all for whoever wins. I don't have a pony in the show. I think they are both capable of hurting each other. Seriously, I haven't seen any signs of bad chin weakness. More probably for Berlanga than Hamzah, but Hamzah's been rocked as well. So I can't go there with that. I can't say that one's chinny and the other one's not. This is boxing, and these are some big boys. They're gonna come in the ring at least 190 pounds. You know what I mean? So that's what it's going to be. When they make weight bloom. You know what I mean? They're going to balloon up a bit. Okay, water weight is a mother sucker. Okay, so Sheeraz, I think he will use that jab to keep Berlanga back. The keys of victory is to do so. And when Berlanga gets overzealous, which we know he's going to do, drop that hammer on him. Okay, drop the backhand on him. Easy. Because Edgar Berlanga is a guy that's always trying and needs to be in position to land those shots because he's so accustomed to landing those shots. I remember guys at work when we're on set used to talk about, man, you heard of Edgar Berlanga? And Edgar Berlanga, I was like, yeah, you know what I mean? So he was known, he got that reputation for knocking guys out, knocking them senseless, knocking them spark out. But once he found out and he reached to a certain level that there are levels to this, he didn't understand. So he really didn't pass my test in the boxing on the boxing list, because he did not understand that, hey, boxers will not make it easy for you to knock them out. And I don't think Hamzah will be either. I don't think he's an exception. I think what it is, Edgar Berlanga is wanting to show people that how strong he is. Well, strength, punching power is only one concept of boxing, one element, okay? So if that's the case, you know, he needs to stay closer to Hamzah, because if not, he may be outboxed from the outside. And I think Hamzah can easily do that if Edgar allows him to. Okay, so it's going to be a hot, heated fight. Edgar Berlanga has done a good job with promoting this fight with his brash New York energy, you know, over this side. You know, this is how we do it over here. Right, so big up to Edgar Berlanga. A lot of people may think it's obnoxious. At times I do. But I do have to say this about Edgar Berlanga. Edgar Berlanga is from New York. New York people have that attitude. They have that energy. They have that personality, especially growing up in one of the 5 boroughs, okay? So, you know, that's what comes with the territory. So I have to apologize to Edgar Berlanga for thinking he's to this and to that, you know, because he's from New York. I mean, Jarrell Miller can do the same, and you know what I mean? People are praising someone that likes to build fights. Well, so does Edgar Berlanga. So I think he is just as worthy of selling that fight using his New York energy as someone like Jarrell Miller. So I have to stand counterpunched for that, because, you know, Edgar Berlanga does bring a different type of energy, because, in fact, that's the kind of dudes that I used to hang around with when in my late teens and my early 20s. So, you know, because I was thinking, what is it about Edgar Berlanga? But Edgar Berlanga is definitely that. But back to the breakdown. Edgar Berlanga just needs to let his hands go. I think he punches harder than someone like Adames. I think Adames was able to land on Hamzah, but Hamzah was able to take the shots due to the lack of punching power Adames has. And I'm not calling Adames a non-puncher. I'm saying I don't think he punches like Edgar Berlanga. And I think if Berlanga lets his hands go at the right time, because he may not be the faster one, but he can definitely beat him with timing, okay? Because timing beats speed. So if he's able to get Hamzah Sheeraz in between combinations, get him comfortable enough to start throwing shots that's letting those hands drop because he's letting those hands go, throw that left hook, throw that overhand right, make a splash when you do counter, because you're going to need the counter when you time the guy that's faster than you. Again, speed, timing beats speed. So that's what he's going to need to do, okay, in order to win this fight. I say Edgar Berlanga by KO or Hamzah Sheeraz by decision, okay? Not only can Hamzah box and be more effective, I think, from the outside, I think he also has a little extra love when it comes to his friends. I'm going to leave that at that. But Edgar Berlanga, I do think that he has the punching power to do so, but I think he needs to know how to use it. But I think also knowing how to use punching power, okay, is also how to become a better fighter. And if he doesn't learn that these guys are not going to make it easy for him, and he needs to start adjusting and adapting and using other tactics to cut off the ring to make it stick, he won't ever grow. And that's my fear for Edgar Berlanga. Just thinking, oh man, these dudes are running, these dudes don't want to fight. Well, if that's your attitude and that's your solution to point the finger at the other guy for not letting you hurt him, well, the problem is you, not them. Because that's what it's really about. It actually is hit without being hit. Okay, so if Edgar Berlanga, if he learns, maybe he needs to get with Robert Garcia or Roberto Garcia and Oxnard, teach him the Mexican style. I think that would be a great adaptable style for him because it's more of an aggressive style and he can use more of his natural abilities to knock some MFA out. Especially going to that body, cutting off the ring, avoiding a lot of those shots, getting under those shots that that you normally can't compete with, especially a boxer or a pure boxer style. That may help him. So, Hamzah Sheeraz by decision or Edgar Berlanga by knockout. You guys tell me what you think about this fight prediction. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!